Are you stuck in pickleball and wondering what's stopping you from reaching that next level? In this video, I'm breaking down the 7 biggest mistakes holding players back and how to fix them. Don't miss number 6 as it's totally a game changer and extremely crucial. Let's dive in. Mistake number 1 is poor footworks on your dinks. It's very hard to get to that 5.0 level if you don't understand the effect footwork can have on your game. However, this is something that is so overlooked. I see people reaching for balls, standing up way too tall, yet they wonder why they feel overwhelmed at the kitchen line. So a massive problem is lazy footwork. I see people standing upright, they're not on the balls of their feet, and they're kind of moving back and forth in a lazy way. They're not showing that they're a threat at the kitchen line. They're not showing that they can get behind that ball and do a lot. So this is kind of what that lazy footwork looks like. People just standing here dinking, they're looking to reach in, but they're not moving their feet a lot and they're easily pushed off balance here. So this is kind of just lazy and I'm not able to do a lot from this position. So on the flip side, good footwork is someone who's lower, who's moving their feet better on the balls of their toes, and all of a sudden, they're a threat to their opponent now because they really feel active, like they can do more with the ball, they're maneuvering the ball better, and everything looks like an attack rather than that lazy footwork where the opponent doesn't feel like they're on edge. So here's good footwork, and all of a sudden, it's gonna create a lot more pressure for my opponent. I feel like I really am in control and I can do more with the ball. And I'm just dinking here, I'm not hitting hard. So 3 takeaways for good footwork. Try and stay lower. I want you to be in that athletic position. I want you to stay on the balls of your feet. Rather than being on your heels, you're on your toes more. And then lastly, try and get your outside leg behind that ball each time. So we're moving in good position. And what this is gonna do is create us options. Our opponent's not gonna know what's coming because we're in that strong position here. Mistake number 2 is overhitting at the kitchen line. So many 4.0 players come from the baseline where they're hitting drives and hitting hard. Then they come up to the kitchen line and they continue this mindset. They come up to the kitchen line and automatically feel like they have to do so much and try and win the point. Instead, slow down the ball and play softer. Doing this will force pressure on your opponents. You also need to wait for the right times to attack rather than just feeling like you need to do something. We transition from the baseline all the way to the kitchen line, and now we feel like we have to overplay or do a lot. This is wrong. So here's an example of me overplaying at the kitchen line. I get to the kitchen line, I'm dinking here with Tommy, he's moving me around, and then all of a sudden, boom, I feel like I have to do too much because I feel that pressure. What we want to do is play slow and build the point instead. We need to work the point from the kitchen line with softer shots and now build the point from here. The goal from the baseline is to transition up to the kitchen line, and now since we're at the kitchen line, we don't need to overplay. We want to use a softer hand, a softer grip, and really move our opponent around with soft shots and try to set up attacks or good combos. So here's an example of me slowly building the point at the kitchen line and not overplaying. So I'm at the kitchen line now, I'm moving the ball around, I'm getting a feel for where I'm at, and I'm looking for combos. I'm moving that ball around, push dinks, and then now I found my opening. I'm not overplaying, I'm just slowly moving the ball around and getting a feel for how I can build this point out. So the takeaway, when you get to that kitchen line, don't overplay and feel like you have to pull the trigger immediately. Build the point out, use soft shots, use combos, use good aggressive dinks, work that point, and then look for your attack. Mistake number 3 is short serves and returns. At the higher level, these are things that you just can't get away with. When you leave a serve short, you're robbing yourself of the chance to get ahead of the point. When you leave a return short, you're giving your opponents a free ride to the kitchen or to attack you. Especially in 2025, the serve is your friend. It's the only shot in pickleball that you have full control over. We want to make sure we're using it to our advantage and going for it. We don't want to put short serves in that invite our opponent up to that kitchen line. We want to hit deep serves, pushing our opponent back, starting our point the right way. So your return can either be your friend or your enemy. A good deep return is definitely your friend, and a short return is not going to be your friend. That's going to invite your opponent to attack you or give them a free ride up to that kitchen line, which we don't want. If you want to get your return to go deeper, aim a little bit higher over the net. This is going to help your trajectory, and ultimately that ball is going to go further. Also, it's going to clear the margin over the net by a lot more, so you're going to make more balls, and ultimately you're going to have a more consistent return. So takeaways: having a good serve and a good return are going to help your game tremendously. We want to make sure that we're able to get both of these shots fairly deeper in the court here. So I call this the back third, and this is where we want our serve to land and the return to land. If we can get the ball here, we're going to set our point up with success from the start. It's going to be a lot easier to win the point if we're getting the ball in this general area than giving them a shorter serve or a shorter return where they get a head start on us. Mistake number 4 is bad communication with your partner. If you and your partner are going to be a team, you need to start communicating more. This is a huge problem at the 4.0 level. You both are playing 2 different game styles with no goal in mind. So to fix bad communication with your partner, I want you to start talking with your partner before every point. It doesn't have to be much, but I want you to discuss your strategy for that next point. For instance, I might tell my partner, I'm going to serve deep to his backhand corner. Let's look to drive it when they're coming into the net. Just a simple chat like this over the course of a few points will help you and your partner start to understand each other and win more. The takeaway: don't be afraid to discuss things with your partner. Discuss before the match, try and discuss during the match, and especially strategy in between points. This is going to really help you and your partner stay on the same page, and ultimately you guys are going to do better. Mistake number 5 is poor shot selection when under pressure. Trying to hit low percentage shots when under pressure is something I see preventing people from reaching those next levels. They get to a close point in a game where they've been playing so well, and then under pressure, they end up pulling the trigger on a ball they shouldn't have due to that pressure. Remember, lots of these matches are decided by just a few good or bad decisions. So pulling the trigger under pressure, we want to make sure that if we're going to attack, we have our ideal shot. We want to make high percentage attacks rather than pulling the trigger when we're on the stretch or we really don't have a good shot of winning this exchange here. So if I'm dinking with Tommy here and Tommy's hitting aggressive dinks that are moving me out wide, I'm not going to want to attack here. I'm going to want to stay pretty stable, and I don't want to pull the trigger and go for something that's just not there, right? I'm probably gonna lose that exchange 9 times out of 10. Instead, what I wanna do is I wanna wait for the right ball to attack, wait for the right height, and make sure that I'm behind the ball with my legs. So we're gonna be dinking here, and I'm moving the ball around. I'm staying patient, and Tommy gives me a ball that's just the right height, and then I attack and I go for it, right? My right leg was behind the ball. I'm in good position. It's at the right height. I know that if I start the hands battle or the exchange there, I'm probably gonna have the upper hand rather than pulling the trigger when I'm not gonna win that exchange. So the takeaway: make sure you're in the right position with the right ball to initiate that speed up. We don't want to be pulling the trigger when we're off balance or not in the right position. We want to get high percentage attacks. So that means attacking when we feel like we're going to win that exchange more times than less. Mistake number 6 is one of the biggest ones that I see, and that's over-relying on your forehand. So many players favor their forehand so much that they begin avoiding their backhand instead of working on it. While this can develop your forehand more, it also creates a huge liability in your game. We want to have stable shots on both sides. We've all seen those players with a really good forehand, but almost no backhand. This is a major problem because they start hiding their backhand, running around it, giving their forehand all the reps and their backhand no reps. That discrepancy of their forehand to backhand becomes greater, and all of a sudden the problem gets worse. What we need to do is make sure we're practicing both sides of the court a lot. We don't want to be running around our backhand too much because then we're not going to give it the adequate practice it needs to get better. So how we fix this is making sure we're giving our backhand enough reps so we can build that confidence and really develop a solid backhand. We want to hit with our left arm a lot. We want to lead with that left arm. A good drill is just to stand on half the court here. So I'm going to be standing on the middle, and every ball that Tommy hits is just going to come to my backhand here, and I'm just going to practice getting these reps. We're going to do this at the baseline, at the kitchen, they're in the volleys, and so forth. So the takeaway is make sure you're practicing your backhand. Do the drill we just did, stand on half of the court and really just have everything be a backhand. Give it the adequate amount of reps it needs in order to grow as a shot and a tool. The seventh and final mistake that I see players make is playing overly aggressive in the transition zone. Players get attacked while trying to get up to that kitchen line, and then they try to counter the ball from the midcourt. At the high level, this is not something you'll get away with. The goal when moving through that transition zone is to get yourself up to the kitchen line. This is not when we want to be attacking, especially when our opponents are settled at the kitchen line. So I'm in the transition zone here. What I want to do when I get attacked in this position is I want to reset the ball, still work my way up into the kitchen. I'm putting that ball into the kitchen. I'm not trying to start a firefight from this position because I have so much room in front of me for my opponent to get the ball down at my feet. So I'm ultimately not in a favorable position to win this exchange here. What I want to do is I want to reset the ball back into the kitchen and then move in where I'm going to get the firefight eventually. I'm going to work the point from that kitchen line versus trying to win the point from the transition zone. So the takeaway, be smart in this transition zone here. We want to reset the ball when we're attacked at this position because there's so much room ahead of us. We want to reset that ball into the kitchen, get to that kitchen line, and then try to win the point from up there. Drop a comment below and let me know which one of these 7 mistakes you're going to work on first. I love getting to hear from you guys. Also, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button as it motivates me to make more videos like this. I'll see you guys in the next one.